Tzipi Hotovely is with us, Israel's ambassador to the UK. Ambassador, welcome to the programme.
Hello, Peter. I'm in Israel at the moment. It's very hard for all of us to experience this horrific days.
Well, I'm so sorry to hear what is happening to you and to your country. You must be heartbroken and furious by what's happening. But tell us, are you okay? Are your friends and family all right?
Last day was waking up into a nightmare. 7 o'clock in the morning, the siren started. I'm in the city in the middle of Israel, next to Tel Aviv. Over 3,000 rockets were fired on Israel. But the real horrific story is the fact that Hamas invaded Israel with a calculated and planned plan to target children, elderly, and women in Israel. And they moved from one house to another in the cities of Israel in a terror attack that was never seen in our country. And we're speaking about over 300 Israelis barbarically murdered. We're talking about over 1,000 people still in the hospitals, wounded. Almost over 100 people that are now kept in with Hamas in Gaza, hostage. So this is the reality we live in, and this is why Israel must fight till we make sure all the terror infrastructure is totally destroyed.
The retaliation has been swift from Israel. It's been brutal as well. There are hundreds of Palestinians who have been killed. Some of them, at least some of them, probably the majority of them, will not be Hamas terrorists. We don't even know if they support Hamas. But certainly, if you want to, I mean, how do you rationalise the Israeli response? Is it an eye for an eye? Because brutality begets brutality, death begets death. Surely the Israeli state has had enough of both of those.
I don't accept this comparison. I think there is one side, who's the Israeli side, wants to live peacefully with all its neighbors, and there is barbaric people on the other side with jihadi ideology that are coming and targeting innocent people, innocent children. You know, my 3-year-old daughter was asking me, "Mommy, why are we in a shelter? Why do they want to kill me?" And I'm thinking about all those mothers. I mean, I'm sure, Peter, I'm sure you've seen those horrific videos. You see mothers and fathers sitting in a shelter. They're hearing fires and guns in the background.
It's terrifying.
And the most terrifying thing is mothers had to see their children getting killed on the other side of the house because they invaded living rooms. They were walking into a living room, into a dining room, and they just started killing innocent families.
There are women and children who are being held.
This is something that we need to make sure that will never going to happen. And we are targeting terror infrastructure. We are alerting the people of Gaza. The Prime Minister was clear yesterday. He said, we are going to make sure it's not going to happen. The people of Gaza must leave because we need to protect our people. And this is our duty, just like the UK government would have done. And we received Prime Minister Sunak's incredible support, together with President Biden's support, because at the moment, everyone understands that Israel fights for its freedom as a democracy, as a Jewish state, and we need to get the world support.
Absolutely, I agree with that. But certainly, I wonder, you've told people to leave Gaza, certainly, but what other measures is Israel putting in place, not just to protect its own people, of course, from this horrendous terrorism, but to make sure that civilians on the other side are not targeted or killed?
We are alerting. We are making sure that everyone will know that Israel is going to attack. And let me be honest with you, no other Western country is doing that. No other country is alerting and saying, we are going to attack on a specific day. We're going to tell basically people that are supporting at the moment. You know, Hamas is committing a double war crime by abusing the civilians in Gaza and by targeting Israeli civilians. So we are in a point where we're alerting. We're doing more than normal countries will do. And I must say that at the moment, it's so clear Israel must fight to defend its people. And this is something I want to be very honest here. I live in Israel and we experience wars, we experience terror attacks. We never experienced something like that. We never experienced a situation where over 100 Israelis being hijacked, kids in front of their parents, being taken away from them to Gaza. And we need to release these people. We need to make sure that they'll be back home with their parents. And this cruelty that is, you know, I've seen this video that you see 85-year-old woman people in wheelchairs, they are barbaric and cruel. They targeted the most weak people that couldn't protect themselves. This is why we need to fight.
Speaking of that barbarism, we have some breaking news. You may be aware of this, Ambassador. Apologies if you're not. But 3 people have been killed after an Egyptian policeman has opened fire on Israeli tourists. This is in Alexandria, and at least 2 Israelis and 1 Egyptian were killed. We don't know the full details of that, Ambassador, but people are calling what has been happening in the last 24, 36 hours as Israel's 9/11. I wonder if you agree, and also, perhaps reflect on the chaos, the war and the suffering that flowed in America after that. Has Israel learned the lessons of that, do you think?
Well, first of all, I totally agree that this is something we never experienced. It's on another level, and the whole country at the moment is united with backing up our soldiers to defend Israel. So this is the moment where we are. The Western world has known terror attacks. You mentioned 9/11 for the Americans. You had your 7/7 and the London Bridge attack and the Manchester attack. So you know how terrorism is like, and you know that the only thing it wants is to kill freedom. And with the Jewish state case, I'm sure they're targeting us as Jews living in a Jewish state. And this is why we all stand together in solidarity today. We need to be aware that the jihadi fight is against Israel, but it's against also the Western civilization. And we need to stand strong together on this. Yes, I heard about this attack in Egypt, and we definitely will learn the lessons, but now it's time to defend our people and to destroy Hamas infrastructure.
Ambassador, my heart goes out to the people of your region, not just the innocent Palestinians, but also, of course, the people of Israel, all the people of Israel who are dealing with this. Jake Marlowe is apparently 26 years old and has been affected by this, has been taken as a hostage. What is the latest on that?
Well, all the hostage issue is a very complicated one. And the truth is, when you have so many people being taken away, beyond your borders, you need to be very, very careful with the information that I can share at the moment about those efforts being made. But I want to say, we definitely need the international community's support on releasing all these innocent people being taken hostage. So this is actually something that I can say here in the media. This is your role to stress and to say this is a war crime. The fact that you're hijacking, you're taking it hostage, innocent people, the fact that you are killing innocent elderly and young children, this is a war crime, and you need to make sure that every individual that being kept hostage will be back safe to Israel.
We know that your Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, is talking to the Israeli Defence Force at the moment. He's at the headquarters there. Of course, Mossad is well known to be the best, or certainly the most skilled intelligence agency in the world. Yet this seems to have taken the Israelis unaware. Was it a total shock?
Well, there was a shock in Israel, and I need to be again very clear. This is the time not for internal investigation, but actually to make sure that we fight back and we defend our people. This is what we need to do. Over 300 Israelis murdered, the people that lost their loved ones, the people that saw their loved ones being killed in front of their eyes. It's not the time to do this type of investigation. It's really the time to fight back, to make sure those horrific atrocities will never happen again in Israel. And I'm here to say how much it's important to get the world support that innocent children will never be in this point of asking why they're targeting me. Innocent children shouldn't be targeted.
I have been to your beautiful country, Ambassador, and I've seen some of the camps that are there, refugee camps. I've seen some of the settlements. I've seen had the incredible warm welcome from the Israeli people as well. I think there is a real love for that part of the world for many people in the West and right around the world as well. But I suppose the question is, will there ever be peace there? Is there any appetite for any peaceful settlements? Certainly when you're dealing with a terrorist group like Hamas, there must be many questions about whether they're getting their money as well, because there is clearly poverty in the Gaza Strip. But there are the Hamas terrorists who are targeting Israel at the moment appear to be very well funded.
So Israel is a country that achieved peace with so many Arab countries, Egypt and Jordan and the UAE and Morocco and Bahrain. And as you know, we are negotiating at the moment with a big peace agreement with Saudi. So definitely Israel is not the peace barrier. You know, we want peace with all our neighbors, but unfortunately, we are, we are like the UK, a democratic free country, but from the other side, there is a very radical ideology, a jihadi ideology that doesn't want Israel to exist, doesn't want Jewish people to live in Israel. And this is why we need to fight as long as they hold this radical ideology and as long as they don't want Israel to exist. So is there going to be a peace? Absolutely, when this radical ideology will be fighted back and when they will realize that Israel is there in the Middle East because this is our homeland, and we will make sure that Jews can live proudly in their homeland.
What happens now? We've heard from the Prime Minister that he has vowed to turn Hamas strongholds in Gaza into rubble. Surely the rockets will continue, the terrorism will continue from the Palestinian territories into Israel as well. What can be done to stop this, do you think? You're talking about very, very strong action from Israel. Is there any end in sight, or is this just, I mean, as Benjamin Netanyahu said, that Israel is just at war?
We are at war, and in a war, usually the government is putting the targets and what it wants to achieve. And we are very clear about what we want to achieve. We want to make sure Hamas won't have the ability to go back and make terror attacks on innocent Israelis. This is the first target. The main thing is, first of all, to prevent those horrific sites to happen again. And the other thing is, of course, the fact that so many Israeli innocent people are at the moment kept hostage in Gaza Strip, and we need to release them. So this is definitely part of the reason why we need to fight.
Tzipi, this is not my opinion, but we have a lot of people who are contacting me on this programme saying that Israel has been by itself a terrorist state. They're alleging that there have been numerous atrocities by Israel. Kicking a dog and then the dog bites back is one comparison someone made. Has Israel any responsibility for what has happened in the last 24 hours?
Well, when you see barbaric people slaughtering children and women, just imagine if it would have happened in London or in Manchester or in Liverpool. Do you think British people would have said, UK is a terror state, this is why it's being attacked? When you had the London Bridge attack, when you had the 7/7 attack, do you think people were sitting there and thinking, well, it's actually UK's fault? No, it's a radical ideology, the same one that hurt Americans in 9/11, the same one is hurting innocent British people in their capital in London. It's the same radical ideology. So Israel is a country that seeks peace, but we definitely have the obligation to protect our people from this radical, barbaric terrorist of Hamas that yesterday shown to the world their face by killing elderly, by killing children. And I think everyone that cares about freedom and democracy should support Israel at this time.
Tzipi Hotovely, Ambassador from Israel to the United Kingdom, thank you very much for speaking to us this morning. We wish you well. I hope you and your family remain safe in what is happening there, and thank you for that. That was the Israeli ambassador. We'll get reaction